The sea covers over 2/3 of the planet's surface. Yet we know more about space and the universe than we do about our own oceans. Between the states of Connecticut and New York is the Long Island Sound, a naturally protected channel into New York City used for over hundreds of years. The Sound's rich maritime history has played a significant role in the growth of our country. Join us as we explore its unsung residents and its forgotten history. Captain Dennis here with Squalus Marine Divers. Today we're in New London, leaving to dive a wreck called the Onondaga. It's a 275-foot freighter that ran aground off of Watch Hill, Rhode Island. The story I've been told is that the Onondaga was diverted into Long Island Sound due to U-boat activity during World War I in the Atlantic Ocean. Today we're heading out with Atlantis Dive Charters, owned by Captain Gary Chellis. Captain Chellis is a veteran charter boat captain, not to mention an incredible diver. He's been doing charters in the New London area since 1991. Atlantis is known for taking divers to some of New England's premier dive sites. We tied into the ship's stern, and as I make my way down the line, I can start to make out the wreckage. I'm not very familiar with this ship, as this is my first time to this location. As we get to the shipwreck itself, another diver left his slate, which has a map. It shows where you are in relation to all the other wreckage, letting you decide which way you'd like to proceed. I went down off of the stern and then around to the starboard side, making my way towards the bow. As I came over the side of the ship, I encountered a skate. Part of the ray family, also part of the shark family. When the Onondaga sank, it was a hazard to navigation. It was later blown up to reduce this risk. Numerous items have been recovered off of the Onondaga. Everything from plates to tires, to textile spools, ink bottles. This was a freighter, so there's all kinds of things that can be recovered. And although this site has been dove for many years, I happened to stumble across something myself. This small watch was just sitting right out in the open. As I head up the port side, making my way towards the bow, I pass John, who is diligently looking for interesting items to retrieve. After speaking with one of the crew members, Pat, he told me that this area sounded like I was looking at the mast. But we weren't diving together, so I could be wrong. Although this is my first time to this site, I'll bet my tank that these next items are the boilers. These giant cylinders tower a good 10 to 15 feet off of the bottom. You can really see how immense they are to power this giant freighter. As you can see, the diversity of marine life on this shipwreck is vast. Here we can see somebody I'm pretty familiar with. It's like seeing an old coworker. This ship had all kinds of machinery to help raise and lower cargo on its decks. I'm not sure, but I think this is one of the winches. And it's important to preserve shipwrecks like this, as they're a huge part of our country's history. It's a good reminder as to how close World War I actually came to our shores. This site can really only be dove at slack tide, and it has to be dove when there's nobody fishing. Divers and fishermen are always jockeying for the best spot over the shipwreck. We were fortunate enough to beat the fishermen here. After a few more fin kicks, we reach the bow of the Onondaga. Swimming inside of a shipwreck or in between items is called penetration diving. Sometimes you'll find something that's called a swim through, where you can go in one end and go out the other. Here is a small tube that I can barely fit my arm through. And it just wouldn't be a dive to me without retrieving a bottle. And here you go, another bottle. As I hang on the ascent line doing my safety stop, Jason makes his way up to the line as well. As we make our way back to the surface, Captain Chellis and his crew are patiently waiting to assist us back into the boat. There was a hole in my goodie bag, and luckily this didn't find it. When we get back to shore, I'll be sure to take it to my friends at Casson Jewelers in Southport, Connecticut. I bring all my crazy things I find on shipwrecks, and they're nice enough to take the time to look at them and tell me whether they're worth anything. This watch turned out to be an Omega watch from late 1940 to early 1950. So this was not part of the shipwreck itself. It may have been lost by a sailor, a fisherman, or just a passing boater. At this time, I'd like to say thanks for checking us out. I'm Captain Dennis with Squalus Marine Divers.